Welcome everybody to another episode of the One Up XP Show, the podcast here that we introduce you to some names, whether it's esports coaches or organizations, whether it's collegiate, high school, or if it's just organizations or even pros or content creators, everything that you can imagine within the video game business. We're trying to introduce you to get some background on it, get some information, maybe open some video game minds and show you something new that you maybe didn't know existed. Today we're being joined by Dr. Terri Gustafson from NMC Esports because NMC's got a new program going this year, and we got to know what's going on with NMC and that esports program. So I'm bringing in Dr. Terri Gustafson. Terri, how are you doing?
Good, great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining me. And it is a very exciting time, not only for NMC, but for, the video game industry in general, because esports is really taking off. And I'm very happy to see and say that NMC is, jumping in the pool early. I'm glad to see it. Whose idea was it? Was it yours that just like, I want to get in this? Or was it something that was kind of brought to light from someone else at school? Or what was it?
Actually, in the late fall 2019, we had a community member, his name's Joseph Walker, come to us and pitch the idea. And he was really excited about it and thought it would be a good fit, especially with the new building happening. So the West Hall Innovation Center, we had just broken ground. They were tearing down the old West Hall, and we had the plans ready for the new building. And so he thought it would be a good fit. He came in and pitched it to my boss, Todd Neibauer, one of the VPs here. And Todd came to me and said, "Well, what do you think of this fitting under your department?
Right.
What do you?" And I was like, "Sure, it sounds like it would fit." I mean, my department's educational technology, so we do everything with classroom technology and online learning, and so esports seemed to fit under it, and we decided to launch it.
Nice. And I mean, that's awesome that a community member was like, "Hey, I think this would be a great fit for you guys." And just the open arms of NMC to be like, yeah, let's do this. Let's give this a shot. Because, to be honest with you, a lot of places are doing that now. High schools are doing that now. And it's just like, wow, everybody's kind of like realizing this is a really good thing and not necessarily a bad thing. Because video games for me as a kid and really in Northern Michigan, I think still have a negative, perception to them, if you will. A lot of parents might not understand that there's a really big business. So if your child, it's not just playing video games. There's a lot behind it that goes with it. And that's what we're trying to prove here with the podcast and a lot of things that we'll be doing on the shows throughout the week. But I'm so sorry that I didn't mention this earlier. But yeah, she's the director of educational technology and director of esports there for NMC. And also the first doctor on the show. I got a doctor on the show. What is your doctorate in?
My doctorate is in higher education administration from Michigan State University.
Oh, Spartan. I'm not going to say anything bad. No, that is awesome. That is, congratulations on that. I mean, I know kind of the work that goes into something like that. So it is always very impressive. And that's why I highlighted it, folks. Doctor for a reason. Give us a little bit of background on yourself. Like we said, Dr. Terri Gustafson, director of esports and educational technology there at NMC. But what makes Terri tick? Like what is a life in the day of Terri Gustafson?
Oh, so let's see a little bit myself. I will be 6 years in October that I've been with NMC. I came here from. Thank you. I actually came to Traverse City from downstate, from Michigan State. Actually, I worked there for 18 years before I took the position here.
Okay.
So. A little bit about myself. My original background was broadcasting.
Nice.
That's where I got started. I was a director and producer, crew member, worked my way up all the way through that, and just through different opportunities, worked my way into education and educational technology. And one thing led to another. There you go. So a little bit about me. I'm fortunate that I have a great team here at NMC that has really supported adding this to what we do here as part of our department. In particular, the young man who works for me, Justin, he's helping me out, kind of being my right hand man, getting things going for this season. And a little bit more about me. Let's see. Married. I have a daughter. I have a dog.
Nice.
who's 11 years old. Her name is Abby. She is a black lab basset hound mix. So if you picture a lab with really short legs and a little bit
Yeah.
longer body, that's our dog who we love to death. She's our fur baby. So
Nice. And
uh,
I have a basset hound as well. She
oh,
is also
awesome.
11. Koopa. Yes, my dogs are named after two characters in Mario Brothers, Koopa and Bowser. Bowser is a Newfoundland, and then Koopa, who actually runs the house, is the basset hound. Bowser's a minion. We found out that he is used for his size. He can get on counters and pull everything down, and then he'll sit there and watch Koopa eat it. So it's just like, oh, that's why you like Bowser so much, Koopa. We get it. He's your minion.
Yeah.
So yeah, awesome. Welcome to Northern Michigan. Obviously, you've been here for 6 years, but welcome.
Thank
You
you.
are really setting out on an adventure that I think is really going to be something great for not only Traverse City but Northern Michigan in general. We don't have a ton to offer when it comes to esports just yet. I say just yet because it is something that is exploding. We're kind of in the midst of everything that has been underground for so long, kind of starting to grow, popping its head up through the ground, if you will. But give us a little background on NMC and esports being introduced. You did say a community member did kind of bring it to light with the new building coming to town. But if you want to dive into your goals or what's going on or what's taking place as of recently with the NMC and esports.
Sure. So we're super excited to get going. Our goal is this fall we're going to launch two teams.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is Rocket League, the other one is Overwatch, both at the varsity level. So we have joined the NJCAAE conference, which is primarily 2-year schools. So we kind of fit right into that mold for that conference.
Right.
And we have tryouts coming up August 14th and 15th. 14th is for Rocket League and the 15th is for Overwatch. We've been working with several local recruits and then also some across the state. So we're excited to bring them in and get some tryouts going. We also have a club here on campus, which is what I started a year ago.
Okay.
Just to try to get it going, right?
Right.
So
yeah.
First thing I did was, throw up a Discord. I put it out there in an email to the students.
Yep.
And within a day, I had like 80 students signed up. So,
yep. That just goes to show you the power that is video games.
Yeah. And it was great because it was during the lockdown and everything that was happening last year. It was really one of the only ways on campus for the students to connect, right?
Yes.
We threw together a team and participated in a couple tournaments, and then we hosted a Rocket League tournament just for NOC students. And of course, everything was virtual and nobody came to campus.
Right.
But there was actually participation by students during everything that's happened in the last year. So
right.
But we're real excited to get going with varsity.
Yeah, and I bet you that just kind of instills normalcy during what was, a very not normal time.
Right.
Because a lot of people always they need a social aspect. What a lot of people might not realize, and I can vouch for this, is we are very social when we play video games. I have friends that to this day are like brothers to me that I play video games with on a daily basis. But that is one way of me keeping sanity, especially through the last year and a half, where you just don't know what's happening with a lot of things. I just kind of zone in, lose track of what's going on around me because it's kind of my, my shell, if you will. But I get in Discord with my friends and we play whatever game and we just have a heck of a time. It's not social interaction face to face, but it's social interaction like a FaceTime or a phone call. We are constantly together when we play video games, especially if you play something like Rocket League or if you play something like Overwatch. There's a lot of communication. And not to mention a little bit of downtime, so you get a lot of different social interaction, which, normalcy and not such a normal time, if you will. Right. Goals for the 21-22 esports year. What are you looking to accomplish this year with your first year of varsity?
We're really looking to put together a team that will grow together, right? So we're not looking for the best of the best players to come in. We want a good mix. We want them to grow not only as players, but as team members, right?
Yeah.
We'll grow that skill set of communication and working together. And, you get frustrated in the spot and how they work together with that as a team.
Yeah.
to grow not only those two teams, but really grow even more awareness for the program. I'm going to start recruiting for the next year.
Yep.
This fall, which is the normal recruiting cycle, and hopefully adding hopefully 2 or 3 more titles by this time next year.
Right.
Not quite sure what those will be yet, but looking at League of Legends and maybe a couple other titles,
Right.
whatever the NJCAA is going to have, and they support 8 to 10 different game titles.
Yeah, there's usually quite a few titles there.
Right. So really just for the teams to do well, right?
Yeah.
But they don't have to win. I just want them to grow and build that awareness on campus even more. The other thing I really want to work on, and it was great advice from a school down in South Carolina. It's like Southwest Technical College. It's a really small school. I met with them and did a webinar with them on how to start a program, and they had a really good concerted effort to teach the faculty and staff on campus what esports was all about.
Right.
So they put together a presentation and a video just so they know what it is and what it's about, and they come out and support the teams, or at least have some awareness.
Right.
So you don't get that kind of weird look on people's face like, esports? What's that? You mean they just play video games?
Exactly.
So, right.
And that's a huge thing, because just like someone who might not know what's going on, a lot of colleges and high schools might not know where to start when it comes with esports. You know, not everybody is blessed with the deep knowledge of video games in general, or what goes around with that. But everybody wants, I like to think everybody wants to learn something new. And this is kind of a newer thing for a lot of people to learn, especially colleges and high school, and how to incorporate it. Like you said, a team building thing with, people and kids learning and how they'll react, communicating, becoming better human beings, essentially. A lot of people might associate with, say, like football, where you're always watching over someone else's shoulder, working as a team to get down the field and score a touchdown. Well, video games is no different. If you're in a team game like Rocket League, it's soccer, but it's cars with a soccer ball. And essentially, you have to figure out how you're going to support your teammates. One might have to fall back. One might have to push forward, cut across, whatever, take a player out if you can. It's very, very similar to traditional sports, and you have to work as a cohesive team. It's a team-building exercise, essentially, just like any real or traditional sport is, or anything in life. You have to be a cohesive member, otherwise it's not going to work. So very similar, and it's a very good process for those kids to learn. All right, so let's get to some of the questions. We got to some of the games that you're focusing on, which is Overwatch as well as Rocket League. But how do the kids get involved? Like you said, you are going to start recruiting. You have tryouts coming up here shortly, August 14th, 15th, I think you said.
Yep.
So is there any other way that kids can get involved? Like maybe, Joey shows up on campus and was like, oh, they have an esports team. What could he do?
Right. We're also looking for students to help get our Twitch channel launched, which will be coming soon. Also looking for students to do some graphic arts, to do some shoutcasting, anything to support the team, right? Being in the lab and helping get things set up on game day, right? So we'll have a coach here for Overwatch, but he's really going to be focusing on getting the players ready and coaching them. So any students that really want to get involved with the back end of it, right? Just like in broadcasting, right? You got your anchors on camera, but you've got your folks on the other side helping out. We're looking for students to get involved with casting, Twitch running the Twitch channel.
Production.
And we're fortunate, looking for production. And that's another big part of a program.
Huge
places,
part of the program.
Huge. Yeah. I mean, you got places like Boise State where they have a whole track where it's a full studio and students run everything. It's like a regular broadcast control room for everything that they're putting out there. We'd like, we're going to start small on that end, but we also want students to have that opportunity to get involved, because then that opens up the door for them to other opportunities when they're not at NMC.
Correct, 100%. And I've talked endless minutes with coaches and even CEOs of organizations and professional players over the last week and a half, and everybody says the same thing. There's more than just playing the video game part to esports. And a lot of people might not see that, but that is something that you guys and many universities are bringing to light is, you need to have somebody that can push the buttons, somebody who can set up lighting, somebody who can shoutcast or broadcast, because just like any other sport, you have a broadcaster and a color commentator. You have all of these back end things that people might not realize go on with esports, but it is a huge thing. And there is a lifestyle to it. It's not just a pushover small production type thing. We're talking multi-million production type deal. Like, it is very well worth your time. If you have any inkling of setting up a Twitch or setting up an esports broadcast, that would be where you'd like to, kind of start. Even if you have any background in video games, that is something that is, again, awesome, that I'm very happy to see colleges bringing to light. And that is awesome that you guys are looking for that and offering that. I should start here. I'm sorry. I got kind of lost in my questions here, but are there any perks for kids interested in esports right now at NMC? Like scholarships or anything like that?
Yeah, we do. We have $1,000 scholarship for each student athlete.
Nice.
So that covers a full year. So it's $500 a semester.
Nice.
When you think about where our cost is per credit hour,
right,
it roughly works out to about 30 to 40% of their tuition a semester.
Nice.
So
that's a huge thing.
So it's huge. So it covers that. Plus, anybody that's on the team will have jerseys with their name and if they want to put a number on it. And we're going to have dedicated academic success coaches.
Oh, cool.
So they'll have that at their disposal too, which will help them with that whole balance, right?
Yeah.
When I talk to recruits, I say, you got to think about it just like you're a student athlete in a regular sport, right?
Yep, exactly.
You're going to have to manage your classes, your practice, your game nights.
Yep.
And if you're working too, and so having the academic success coaches that the college already has at their disposal means when things get crazy and they're having a hard time juggling, that's a resource that will be there for them to sit down and figure out, how do I set a schedule for myself so that I keep up with everything?
That is awesome. I love that 100%.
Yeah. How do I study smarter, not harder, right?
Right, exactly.
Those kinds of things.
And that's
think about.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just thinking about like the academic success centers that they have at big time college sports, right? They have to go to study hall.
Mm-hmm. 100%. And that's exactly like, me dealing with sports growing up. It is a balance. And if you're not used to it, per se, you kind of might get lost in the sauce, especially with playing video games. There is many hours spent in scrim lobbies and practicing, and you kind of get lost with time. More so in video games than you would, say, a set practice that you have every day for more traditional sport. But yeah, that is obvious. Obviously, kids are there first for an education. Second is video games and everything wrapped around video games. So that is something that obviously hats off to you guys for making that known first. You're not trying to grab somebody who's going to play video games and not care about their education. Education first, video games second. And I love to see it. What conference or league are you guys a part of? We went over this year, the NJCAA. Oh, NJCAA.
So National Junior College Athletic Association Esports.
Right. And that's a 2-year kind of like a JUCO for.
Yep.
Like I know when I was in college, I went to a 4-year, but we had kids coming in after their 2 years in JUCO to play baseball and hockey. So that was kind of what I compared it to as a junior college. But what sparked the interest in esports of NMC? We said it was kind of a community member that said, "Hey, we need to kind of bring this to light." But I'm more intrigued about. You said the president was like, "Do you think this would be a suit? Like, what do you think was going through his mind when he was presented with esports?"
Yeah. So my boss Todd Neibauer, I think he has interest because his kids play and he even plays himself.
Mm-hmm.
So all the hours that his sons would spend in the basement playing and being online with with their friends.
Yeah.
Hours and hours on, I don't know if they had Xbox or PS, whatever PS they had or PC based, but I think that was going through his head of the time that they spend doing it.
Yeah.
And it kind of fit with this building happened, right? It's an innovation center. It's
Right.
new, and we're supposed to be kind of pushing the limit and doing new things with the building and how we collaborate. And it's supposed to be a community building too, right? It's open 24/7 for the community use too. And I think it just seemed like a natural fit. And as far as my department, because we're technology folks, it was a fit to put it under my direction and what my department,
Right.
To get things going. And I mean,
it makes
I'm a
sense.
nerd. I've always been a nerd. I've video and
we all are,
gaming like for years off and on, back from when I'm gonna show my age, Atari.
Hey,
to
that's still
Commodore
fun.
64 to working my way up through Xbox over the years.
Yeah.
It always kind of just fit with me and with my department. What my department does.
And I think what a lot of people might not realize is technology and esports go hand in hand in many ways. So it just makes sense that it would be under your umbrella. A lot of kids might have that technology mindset when it comes to a degree. And it, why not be in the same spot where you're going to be studying like technology or maybe something that has to do with security systems. I don't know what it is, but it's something in the technology era. And then also have esports, so I mean, it makes sense hand in hand. But hey, and also there's nothing wrong with Atari. I played that as a kid too.
Yeah, no, we had hours playing. Hours playing games on my friend's Atari at their house.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
I liked it. So what plans does NMC have for the esports program? We talked about that you guys want to get a varsity program going and have the team camaraderie. Camaraderie? What? I just made up a word. But what plans do you have for the esports program? Maybe in say, where do you see you guys self in the age-old question of a job interview? Where do you see yourself in 5 years, Terri?
I would like us to probably, I'd like to have 5-6 teams.
Yeah.
And then I'd like to outgrow this space, right? So
right.
This was space created in the basement of the new building where the bookstore used to be, actually. And it's okay for now,
right.
But eventually it'll have to grow. And I'd like it to actually be bigger and maybe even a little more arena-ish if we can get the program successful, where people can actually come in and sit and watch the competitions.
Yep.
I'd like to have great partnerships with the local schools. That's the one thing that I've found in the last year or so while trying to prepare for this is there's not a lot of traction in the high schools in the area when it comes to esports. And sending out emails to the school saying, "Hey, we're starting the program. Do you have any kids interested?" And then you get crickets of no reply, right? Because they're probably looking at my email going,
"What are you talking about?
What is she talking? What are you talking about?" So I'd love to get partnerships with local high schools where they can come use our space. If in the meantime, maybe if they can't get their own space up and going,
that's a really good idea.
Hey, it's a natural recruiting pipeline, or we can go and our players can go over and work with their players as they get going as mentors or anything like that to help the local schools really start to get some programs going, even if it's 2 teams, right?
I agree 100%.
One team, so that they can start competing in MySEF or anything at the state that's going on in high school esports, which is huge. If we can help them get going. That's a long-term goal, because then it just builds everything in the community,
right? Not
only for us, but Ferris is an hour away, so maybe they start playing for us and then they transfer to Ferris, which is a popular college for kids in Northern Michigan.
Yeah,
they play for us, then they go play for Ferris for 2 years, or they play for us and then they go play for Michigan Tech, which is a popular transfer for our school. Or it would even help North Central Michigan College, because they just started a program too. And
nice.
It would get awareness for them too. So
yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. When you're working hand in hand, because a lot of high schools are going to be slower than even a lot of colleges when it comes to esports, because obviously they're still, if you find yourself confused in the college portion of it, I'm sure high schools find themselves even more confused, because it's like, we don't have money to buy this stuff and make a lab for computers or gaming, or we just don't have the bodies to be a coach or anybody to support that. But yeah, if you can work hand in hand, they can use your arena or your area, your space, and you guys can work hand in hand to kind of help bridge the gap between maybe something that's not offered by all these schools, because there isn't many high schools in Northern Michigan that have really picked it up yet. And the schools that have, hats off to them, but they're very kind of backwoods schools, if you will. Like, it's schools that you wouldn't think necessarily would have an esports program, which I'm happy to see. But like, I think Kalkaska might, Petoskey's probably the biggest city that is that has one right now. Kalkaska has one coming up. I don't. Does West or Central have one yet? I don't think they do.
No, not that I know of. I had a student from Central contact me, be a senior this year, because he saw one of our emails. He's a dual enrolled student about Overwatch, and he's like, "Oh, my friends and I are so excited. We're juniors, but we'll be seniors next year, and we play Overwatch together, and we'd love to start a club or a team at the high school and that." So there's nothing at Central that I know of,
right?
And I don't think there's anything at West either, based on what some of the students who were in the club this year, they have younger siblings at West who are gamers, and they didn't think there was anything. I could be wrong, but
as of right now,
as far as I know,
I haven't heard of anything or seen anything that shows or notates that they have anything going on. If they do, it's probably a club that might be a little bit under the radar as of right now. But yeah, that would be something amazing that NMC could work with Central and West and have the kids inside, maybe, learning or experiencing. And that's, like you said, that's working hand in hand. And everybody needs to work hand in hand to help grow this, because it's new to so many people, but can open so many doors. So I have to ask one last question here, for the most part anyway, unless you have something else to hit on. But what are you looking forward to the most in your first year as director? Like, is there something that you want to see or something that you can't wait to see happen in your first year of esports?
Oh, I'm really looking forward to getting the teams put together. And then honestly, the first week of competition and end of September in the league is just coming in and seeing the teams here competing, right? Just having everything interacting and getting together and competing and scrimming with other schools, and just having realization that we have the teams, right? Because we put a lot of time and effort into it. We got paused for, almost a year because of COVID. So I'm just excited to finally take that first step and launch and have the people here, have the players here, and get going. I mean, because we've just been
stuck in limbo.
Stuck in limbo, and keep talking about it and just want the action to happen.
Yeah, and no, I hear you 100%. It'll be nice, like we've always said, to kind of have normalcy kind of brought back to whatever you do on a daily basis. It'll be nice to have kids back running around doing what they do and playing some video games, interacting, becoming a team, and who knows, maybe surprising some people along the way. And just when you have so many people interacting, becoming a team, you don't know what's possible. An individual is very different than a whole team working together. And you might have 5 okay players, but working as a team, they could be 5 amazing players. And that's what the beauty of esports is when you go to competition, you never know what to expect. And I think you guys will be very happy and very surprised here in the near future. And especially in the 5-year plan, I foresee you guys having some sort of arena in some fashion, which will definitely be awesome. And I can't wait to kind of broadcast or see what you guys' potential is here this upcoming year. Now, I do have a special segment. We're not done just yet. The questions are done. Unless you have something else to add, Terri. Is there anything else that you'd like to mention right now before we get to the special game?
Sure. Just a quick tryouts are the 14th and 15th, and I can, if they want to get a hold of me, I can give them more details. And then we're also looking for some volunteer help with some coaching and some other things from the community. So if anybody's interested, they can get a hold of me too.
Awesome. And we do have all the socials at the bottom of the screen for their Twitter. They will have a Twitch soon. Like she said, they're working on getting that up. We'll have the Discord in the link in the description of the podcast, so you guys can check that out. And I believe your Discord is on your Twitter. as well. I could be wrong on that. I think it's there, but we'll
Should
double
be,
check.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
All right, so we're doing rapid fire questions here. I do this with everybody I do a podcast with. It's just fun. I'll spit 10 questions at you. I say 10 questions in 1 minute, but it's always more than a minute because everybody has to explain their answers. But I fire 10 rapid fire questions off to you, and you have to give me whatever pops off at the top of your head or whatever your answer technically is, and you can take your time and think it through if you have to, because some of these are a little bit harder than others. You might say, ooh, that's a tough one. There shouldn't be anything out of left field for you. There might be one that you're just like, what did you just ask me? But nothing that will ruin our friendship, I promise. So rapid fire question, number one, and if you do have to pass, if there isn't something that is on this list that you can think of, feel free to pass, but I think there'll be something on this list for you. Favorite platform or console that you played of all time?
Xbox.
I see. I get Xbox a lot. I like Xbox too. I'm an Xbox kid. Favorite game that you've played?
Halo.
Yeah. Woo! See, Terry's one of us. One of us. Go-to snack while you're gaming or anything that you're doing?
Skinny Pop.
Skinny Pop? What is Skinny Pop?
Hint of lime Skinny Pop. It's popcorn in a bag you buy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a hint of lime one that I like because it's just enough flavor of lime that.
Oh, that sounds good.
And then I end up eating the whole bag.
Yes. I'll just have a handful of this. Bag is gone. Trust me. Yeah, I do that all the time. Favorite TV show / movie of all time?
Ooh, probably movie. Lord of the Rings.
Ooh, good choice. My wife would
series.
very much appreciate that you picked that one.
Yep. And TV show of all time? Oh,
yeah.
That's hard. Man, I might have to. There's so many. Gosh.
Which one do you find yourself like watching the most? For me, like, it's Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is to me like TV gold.
If I'm flipping around and I stop on something, and there's like choices, it would be Seinfeld.
Oh yeah, that's a good classic too. Yes, I watched that growing up, and I still to this day, there's so many classic episodes that can be like Man Hands or Puffy Sleeves.
Or yada yada yada.
Yeah, there's just so many. I love Seinfeld, love it. Favorite pro team, as in more of a traditional sport. Do you have a favorite pro team in what sport?
Detroit Red Wings.
Nice. Yeah, see, you want to be hockey.
Yeah.
Cat or dog person?
Dog.
Yeah, me too. Everybody that I've interviewed so far said dog. They said no problems with cats, obviously, but obviously they prefer dog. Dream car. What is your dream car?
1968 Camaro.
Woo! That's a classic. My dad had one. He bought it brand spanking new off the lot for $3,500. It was yellow with racing stripes. Got him in too much trouble, so he had to get rid of it. But yeah, that's 68. That's a good year. I like that one.
Yep.
All right, so this is the left field question, if you will. Would you rather be attacked by one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
Oh man. The second one.
So you'd rather have 100 duck-sized horses attack you?
Well, a horse-sized duck is then the beak is big, and then I can like put my whole head in it. Like I could probably kick away. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
throw things at the little ones. I don't know.
The funny
thing is, as a short person, I'm 5'2". The duck could eat me.
Exactly. Like I've asked, you're like the sixth person that I've asked this question to. Okay, and two of them said, "Well, I'll go with the big duck." I was like, "Why? That thing's gonna be getting you so easy." And then the pro PUBG player that I interviewed, Purdy Curdy, he said 100 duck-sized horses, dude. I can go up halfway up a tree and they ain't gonna get me. I was like,
exactly.
Solved.
Yeah.
So this one, who do you watch, pro or streamer? If you do, on Twitch at all, do you watch anybody that plays video games?
Oh, I don't. I mean, I have some that I follow just to keep up on the games, but I'm not a regular watcher. Sorry.
Well, we'll have to get you into some. We'll recommend some for you. Number 10. Anywhere in the world, where are you going, Terry?
New Zealand.
Oh, are you gonna visit the Hobbits?
Yes.
I mean, they literally left that city there, and it has
I know.
become such a huge visit place for tourists. Everyone wants to go visit Hobbitville, if you will.
Hobbiton, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and plus it just looks like a really, really cool country.
it
I
really
mean,
does. I mean, it is
yeah,
gorgeous. The landscapes just look absolutely amazing, and yeah, that was a good choice on that one as well. You've passed your
yep.
rapid fire questions. I will say you've passed with flying colors. Good job. And
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
thank you. Um, thank you, Dr. Terri Gustafson, for joining me today. Their socials are down here on the screen, and like I said, we'll have Discord in the link. And NMC Esports, look into it, guys. It's going to be growing. It's going to be huge. At Esports NMC on Twitter, they'll have their Twitch up soon. I would assume very shortly after we get into the school year here. But Terri, is there
Yep.
anything else that you'd like to mention or put in here last second?
No, I'm good. I just appreciate the opportunity to talk about the program, and it's been great chatting with you.
Thank you for getting the program up and running and helping me kind of bring awareness to, video games aren't a waste of time, as some may have seen it, years ago. And I understand. When I was a kid, we didn't have internet. Internet gaming wasn't a thing. But now it's just something that is blasting off to the moon. And if we can harness it a little bit, I think that's the best thing to do. Get some education in there and then, enjoy some video games. So thank you again, Dr. Terri Gustafson. I really do appreciate it. We'll be
Thank
in
you.
touch again, as always, and can't wait to the season and can't wait to watch what your teams will do. And maybe, who knows, maybe we'll broadcast some of them on 910 News. I'm sure we will.
Cool.
So thank you again. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.